Viewer discretion is advised.
Boom, perfect timing.
William Colon was at his home in Staten Island, New York. He had several significant medical conditions such as scoliosis, insulin-dependent diabetes, diabetic neuropathy, Moriarty syndrome, asthma, gastritis, PTSD, agoraphobia, depression, and anxiety. Mr. Colon weighed around 85 pounds and was 4 foot 8 inches tall. The police were called to Mr. Colon's home because a neighbor dialed 911 reporting an argument between him and his girlfriend. At this time, William Colon and his brother were lawfully inside their home when a group of about 9 officers tried to unlawfully enter their apartment through a private entrance secured with a key lock. These officers had no warrant, permission, or legal right to enter Mr. Colon's residence. They forcefully knocked on the door and demanded that he step outside without providing any explanation.
Step back. I want this gentleman to open it up.
For what?
Because I don't need you to lock me out of here.
Just move back so I can lock the chain.
I'm gonna tell you
This is my older brother.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If you lock the door and you don't let me in, I'm gonna have the issue come here and break the door down.
There's no reason to, but okay.
Okay. Good. Unlock the door, please. Step outside with us.
No, bro.
For what?
Even after Mr. Colon asked several times for information, the officers declined to explain why they were there. One officer, later identified as Vincenzo Trabolse, went as far as threatening to forcefully enter the premises if Mr. Colon didn't cooperate. Feeling pressured, Mr. Colon reluctantly opened the door slightly and positioned himself between the door and the frame. Despite William Colon's compliance, the officers continued to demand that he leave his apartment without providing any valid reason. Suddenly and without warning, Officer Trabolse forcefully reached into Mr. Colon's apartment and shoved him backward, pushing him further into his own home. Another officer quickly followed and entered the apartment.
No,
I don't want to step outside.
You don't.
Yo, I don't want to step outside.
Why you coming in our house for?
Coming in my
Why you
house
coming
for?
in our house
Yo,
for?
what are you doing?
This is
What
the
are you
121. This is the 121. This is the 121. My brother, he has medical issues. He has scoliosis. It's all documented. Diabetes, and look at him. Bend his back. He has scoliosis and everything. Look, this is what they doing. They have no warrant.
I didn't do nothing.
They have no warrant.
No warrant.
He broke in my crib.
What are you doing?
Listen to me.
Oh yeah,
Listen to
Bug.
your hands.
Bug, don't resist. Don't resist, Bug.
Officer Trabolse proceeded to grab Mr. Colon, dragging him forcefully to a nearby bed and pinning him down by placing his elbow with his body weight on Mr. Colon's chest. In the meantime, an officer held onto one of Mr. Colon's wrists. Despite Mr. Colon's repeated explanations about his medical conditions, the officers callously ignored his well-being. Afterward, around 7 more NYPD officers arrived and entered Mr. Colon's apartment, forming a circle around the bed. Officer Trabolse was one of them, and he forcefully handled Mr. Colon, tossing him around, lifting him off the bed, forcefully pushing him back down, and applying physical force to his body.
No.
Mommy's already trust me. You already got a lawyer. You already got a lawyer from the last.
I will take
Yo,
it.
Bug, don't do nothing.
I will take
For
Bug,
what?
don't do nothing.
I have medical
This is
problems.
the
I didn't do
121.
nothing. I didn't do
He has medical problems. If you tase him, he will get hurt. He has a medical condition.
I'm down.
No, he has a medical condition. I'm recorded. I'm in my home. Y'all had no right to come in here. Y'all have no right to come in. And my mother's coming up the steps right now. All right? Y'all had no right. Y'all had, Bug, put your hands on your
I
back.
didn't do nothing.
Bro,
I didn't do nothing.
excuse me. He would like to press charges on her.
Do nothing.
Bug, put your hands. Excuse me.
I didn't do nothing.
Bug, put your hands in.
No, I didn't
That
do
shit,
nothing.
Bug.
Eventually, the officers restrained Mr. Cologne by handcuffing his wrists behind his back, which caused him pain in his entire body. At the same time, Officer Trabolse repeatedly struck Mr. Cologne in the back and side, and also used his taser multiple times against Mr. Cologne's back and/or side. This excessive use of force caused Mr. Cologne to momentarily lose consciousness.
Boy, you see what y'all doing? He has medical problems. He has issues. He goes to therapy and all that. What are y'all doing?
Now get it. Watch my team.
Yo, Book, stop fighting. Just let them do what they gotta do, bro.
Give me your hands.
He's punching me.
Yo, you punching him?
Give me your hands.
He's punching my brother. He's punching my brother. He tased him. Yo, he just tased my brother. Yo, you see what y'all doing to this little boy? Y'all see what y'all doing to this little boy? Oh yeah, in his home. When y'all had no right to come in here. I would like to press charges on our female there for vandalizing my house. She vandalized my house and punched my brother. I would like to press charges on her. Okay? So no one's taking my complaint. Just the lady downstairs. Just the lady downstairs. You see what y'all doing to my brother?
After the incident, the officers lifted Mr. Cologne from the bed, but instead of giving him suitable attire, they took him out of his residence while he was still handcuffed and transported him to the 121st Police Precinct.
Lucky pigs. Telling you. Can never do no real work.
Sir, can you step out, please?
This is my house, for what?
I understand, but can you step out?
Step out of where? So y'all could abuse my brother? So y'all could abuse my brother like you just did? You just punched him. Why you had a taser and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other officers in here? On this little man, he's not even 5 foot. He's not even 5 foot.
Did you hear what he said? He said, can you step out? That's all.
Can you guys step out of my house?
Can you step out?
I'll step out. That's my house right there, look.
William Cologne was charged with resisting arrest and obstructing governmental administration in the 2nd degree. When they reached the police precinct, Mr. Cologne was brought before a desk sergeant and then placed in a holding cell. At this time, Mr. Cologne started experiencing symptoms indicating dangerously high levels of blood sugar. These symptoms included dizziness, nausea, dehydration, and body aches. Mr. Cologne remained restrained in a police vehicle until an ambulance was eventually called. Afterwards, Mr. Cologne was taken to Richmond University Medical Center. He remained shackled to the bed during the transportation. At the medical center, Mr. Cologne received a diagnosis of diabetic ketoacidosis and was admitted to the medical intensive care unit. Unfortunately, he remained shackled to the bed throughout his stay, which negatively impacted his medical treatment. It required additional medication and prevented him from moving around freely as needed. A little over a month later, on November 5th, 2018, the allegations made by the officers against William Cologne were ultimately dismissed and sealed by the prosecutor. About a year later, on September 20th, 2019, William Cologne filed a lawsuit against the city of New York, Officer Vincenzo Trabolse, Officer Nicholas Pallotto, and other officers of the New York Police Department. In his lawsuit, Mr. Cologne alleges several violations including unlawful entry, excessive force, violation of his right to a fair trial, failure to intervene, and malicious prosecution. In the end, I couldn't find any evidence of Officer Vincenzo Trabolse facing disciplinary action for the unlawful arrest of William Cologne. However, the information I did uncover may or may not surprise you. Based on records from 50-A.org, a searchable website of the New York City Civilian Complaint Review Board and related public NYPD data, Officer Vincenzo Trabolse has had complaints filed against him since 2008. In total, there have been 12 complaints with 22 allegations made against him. Out of these allegations, 8 have been substantiated. Furthermore, Officer Trabolse has been involved in 7 additional lawsuits, which have resulted in settlements totaling $981,960 awarded to the victims. As for Officer Nicholas Pallotto, He has received one complaint with 5 allegations, and one of those allegations was found to be substantiated. According to the lawsuit, Officer Nicholas Pallotto was the one that falsely accused William Colon of resisting arrest and obstructing governmental administration in the second degree. He also claimed Mr. Colon was flailing his arms and body and engaging in, quote, violent jerking motions. These baseless accusations led to criminal charges against Mr. Colon, with the officers relying on this fabricated information and evidence to support the charges. The officers maliciously pursued the prosecution of these charges against Mr. Colon, fully aware that there was no probable cause. In October 2018, the Legal Aid Society held a press conference and called for the termination of Officer Vincenzo Trabolse following his unlawful arrest of William Colon. Mr. Colon's mother, Sonia Adorno, spoke at the press conference about her initial reaction to the video, saying, quote, "No mother should bear the horrific sight of her child being manhandled by the police over a crime that he did not commit. Staten Island is no safer with Officer Trabolse walking the streets." In February 2023, the City of New York agreed to settle the lawsuit for $150,000.